triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah, we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
What is going on, gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You Live. And of course, it is your host, Scott Lewis. Got my co-host, JR Bang here, man. And you know to follow us on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott and at JR Bang. Follow the Barber's Chair at Barber's Chair Co. Follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. When you get everything first, the link is in the description box. And if you're lazy, you can scan the QR code. It'll take you right to it. And you can look at all three of the different tiers we have, man. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Scott's World of Sports. The link is in the description box. Or you can scan the QR code here on the screen, man. We talk pretty much all sports over there, man. So I've noticed that the subscriptions have gone up lately. It's been a lot more interactions. So I appreciate y'all who have contributed to the growth of my new channel. So yeah, man, we got a nice show on deck for y'all today. A lot of stuff to talk about. But Bang, man, how you feeling? You were on mute, brother.
I just want to make sure you didn't hit the mute button. Because last week I hit the mute button and you hit it and put me on.
Yeah, I didn't do it this time.
There we go. I just want to make sure. But no, we all good over here. It is Friday. This has been the longest 3 days ever.
I can tell from your Instagram stories.
Fam, this has been the longest 3 days. But the weekend is here. It's draft time. I got some gummies after the show. So for me to go ahead and get relaxed. Happy birthday to my big cousin Vincent. He turns 45 today. You know what I'm saying? So technically Vincent starts off birthday season because then next Friday the wife turns 40. And then Kent from the port, he turns 45 too. I turn 44. Let me get this out the way right now. Orlando, you could kiss my ass about talking about these ages and stuff. But man, birthdays is here, man. So we feeling good.
Big shout out. Happy birthday to your cousin. In your 40s as a black man. That is an accomplishment. So definitely shout out to him. Breaking news coming in to I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Not nothing big, but it's from the ops. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that Green Bay wide receiver Jaden Reed and the Packers have now agreed to a 3-year contract extension worth $50.25 million in new money, including $20 million guaranteed.
No.
All right. Don't really care, but wanted to get the breaking news out there. I'm feeling good, man. The weekend is here. I enjoyed this week of the NBA playoffs after a boring opening weekend. I think the games are starting to get a little spice into it, a little intrigue. There's a triple header tonight. You got the Sixers and the Celtics in Philly game 3. It's a 1-1 series. You got the Lakers taking a 2-0 lead, like I called, heading to Houston tonight. And then, of course, we've got the Spurs and the Blazers tied at 1 tonight. Do not know if Wemby will be playing. I'm guessing he's not because it looked like he'll be in concussion protocol. But I'm not too sure. We haven't gotten any news, so stay tuned for that. We'll also recap last night. Some interesting game 3s. The Hawks taking a 2-1 lead over the Knicks. and the Wolves completely just whooping the Nuggets' ass and taking a 2-1 lead in that series. So we'll talk about that. Of course, we'll also talk about the Chicago Bears drafting Dillion Thieneman. I've been calling him Thieneman all day, and I realized I was pronouncing it wrong. But I already did the reel, and I wasn't going to redo it. So
how is it pronounced? Thieneman?
It is Dillion Thieneman.
Thieneman.
Yeah.
Dinnerman.
I thought it was Thieneman. It's Thieneman.
Dinnerman.
Yeah. See, now you're going to confuse me again. So this is Thieneman. We'll talk about what the Bears should do today in day 2. We have 3 picks today, 2 in the second round and 1 in the third round. We'll talk about overall draft day surprises. Billy Donovan stepped down as Bulls coach this week, so the search for 3 positions now opens. We'll talk a little bit about that. And also, we're going to get a little messy. Clock It Live is back. We'll be talking about
can't wait for that.
The newest updates in the Mike Vrabel-Diana Russini mess. But first, I have to start with an opening rant. A rant that I was not going to touch on because I am actually done talking about this waffle-colored Negro. Now, yes, I am a waffle-colored Negro as well. But unlike this man, I have 2 black parents and 4 black grandparents, okay? Only one of them are alive, but I had 4 black grandparents. This man has a white mama, but that is besides the point. So, my esteemed co-host, Bang, texted me a couple days ago about a certain Toronto rapper wearing a Green Bay Packers jacket. And he said, and I quote, "If you don't rant about this, I'm leaving the show." I was going to let this sail out of bounds because that was sent to me 3 times. Bang sent it to me. Shout out my man Lotto sent it to me. And my man Trey back in LA texted me like when Ops link up with the Ops. He's a Broncos fan, but he knows how I feel about this gentleman and, of course, the Green Bay Packers. So unless you've been living under a rock, this is the picture in question. Yes, this is Aubrey Graham wearing a Green Bay Packers jacket in front of a block of ice. Now, you might be wondering, what does that have to do with anything? Our quarterback, Mr. Caleb Williams, was named the Iceman by his teammates this past offseason. Not offseason, this past season. In fact, Kevin Byard had an interview, I guess, with Patriots.com or something like that, and he explained why they called him the Iceman, because he's ice cold in the fourth quarter and in the games. And a lot of people say, oh, he's trolling Caleb. You know what I'm saying? And it even got to some different Instagram accounts. Shout out to Chicago Media Takeout, the IG account. But they found an old 79th and Hallis tweet about we retweeted Kendrick Lamar when he said that he was a Bears fan or something like that. Yeah. And they were like, oh, they're digging up. Oh, but this is how Bears fans feel about the jacket. No, that tweet was like a year and a half old, but whatever. And even the Packers tweeted this. Well, not tweeted, put it on their Instagram. I don't know what's going on Twitter. I tweet on my computer and then I log off. But on Instagram, they posted this picture. And then, is he sending shots at Caleb? Now, I have it on very good authority that Caleb has actually been in Drake's house multiple times. I also have it on good authority, due to Caleb saying this multiple times. He is a massive Drake fan. Okay? So I do not believe that this has any correlation because Drake is a weirdo and Drake just does weird stuff. Having said all of that, I only look at this picture and I see a bitch wearing a bitch jacket. That's all I see when I look at this picture right here, is a bitch in a bitch jacket. And I can tell that we're getting closer to album time because of the stuff I'm starting to see on my social media timelines. And I thank God that I am not an active Twitter participant anymore, because God knows what it looks like on there. I am personally tired of this narrative that Drake has been done wrong in the last 2 years. I hate it. It gets on my nerves. He is not the first person to lose a rap beef, okay? He lost a rap beef. And honestly, him losing the rap beef is not the issue here. I do not have high dislike for this man because he lost a rap beef. I don't care. My favorite rapper has lost a rap beef. Jay-Z. I'm not that big of a Jay-Z stan to tell you that he didn't lose the Nas. Now, I personally think that all his disses were better than either, but the public decide who's the winner. And the public say that Nas won, and the word ether became a part of American culture. So
Yeah.
you put two and two together, he lost. Unless you're an actual member of the Graham family or on the Graham payroll, you know that Kendrick Lamar won that beef. In fact, even if you are a member of the Graham family or on the Graham payroll, you know that Kendrick won the beef. You just can't say it. So enough with this. Let him put out his album. He put out his records, whatever. I don't care. I will not be listening to it. Okay. Y'all do what y'all want to do. But what I'm also not looking forward to is a bunch of people born in the 80s, like myself, who about to go on this tirade to anybody who might not like this album, or y'all don't be outside. Brother, you were 2 years away from 40. Or you already 40. This is not the outside thing ain't for you. You probably need to be home. But that's a Summer Sessions episode. So I just wanted to get that out there. Enough of this. I don't care. Let him put out his little Mickey Mouse records and let's move on. Okay? But if indeed this is a shot, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's what I got for my. Was that rant enough for you?
It was enough for me, Scott. Thank you. I appreciate this time here. I'm gonna disagree with you, but it's a caveat. I think it's a shot, but it's a playful shot.
Okay.
I think it is a playful shot because of the George Gervin thing. And look, I understand what Kevin Byard's saying, but let's be real. As you said, they both waffle colored Negroes is what you called them. Call it. They're both waffle
Yes,
colored
but Caleb
Negroes.
has two black parents.
I know, but they kind of have a resemblance because almost a lot of them kind of look alike. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of he is a Drake fan.
Yes,
Drake said
massive.
that he was coming out with an album called Iceman. He was doing Iceman things. You
In
can't tell
fact,
me.
majority of the locker room are massive Drake fans. Because
Right.
if you haven't seen my interview with former Bear, Eliminates the Kids, he looked at me like I was strange when I said I don't listen to this man.
Yeah.
So go check that out if you haven't watched it.
So you can't tell me that that nickname does not have anything to do with Drake. But Drake could playfully poke at a fan by wearing the Green Bay Packer jacket because there's literally no reason for him to wear a Green Bay Packer jacket. He could say that I'm wearing that Green Bay Packer jacket for Lil Wayne. It is still no reason at all for him to wear a Green Bay Packer jacket. He could have wore a Toronto Maple Leafs or Toronto Argonauts to match with the blue. He didn't. Ice is blue, and he went with green and gold. Yes, it is a dig, but it is a playful dig because I do believe that the two do know each other. They're aware of each other. They're cool. He been through the house, all of that stuff. I just think it's a playful dig and not anything meant on purpose to diss that.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't put nothing past him. But I will say
Playful,
this:
playful, playful.
playful. I mean, I guess I just really don't like that guy. I think that's the moral of the story. Like, remember when 50 Cent was like on Beef 3? I really don't like that guy when he was talking about Ja Rule. I just don't like him. I just don't. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just what we is with that. But anyway, let's move on to something I want to talk about before we get into the main rundown of today. And I want to talk about how wrestling is kind of being covered. So I did not watch WrestleMania this week, last weekend.
Well, I'm
Good.
glad. Be glad you didn't watch WrestleMania Night 1. Shouts out to Cameron with the hashtag of the year so far. Saturday WrestleMania niggas. That is night 2, though. That Sunday. That's the one to watch.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I was busy trying to recover from my soccer team, ruining my weekend for the fourth time in 5 weeks. But what I noticed now, I was a diehard wrestling fan from I want to say 1998 to 2004. Now I stopped watching in 2004 because of peer pressure. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I was 15 years old, and it was like, oh, we got. How can I put this? Bitches don't like wrestling at the time. Now it's cool.
Oh, they did. They just didn't tell you.
Yeah, when it was looked at as being a lame to watch wrestling, I was like, I ain't watching
I
wrestling.
have learned that shorties was out here watching it. They just didn't tell you because if they would have went to the school talking about some, oh man, did you see
Did you see the TLC
Stone Cold
match?
Thunder? Did you see it? They would have got talked about.
And so we were all suffering from peer pressure. So I stopped watching. But what I noticed was in my time of watching, I used to have many debates with my older cousins about and older family members. Oh, wrestling's fake. It's not a real sport. You know, it didn't get covered on Sports Center. In fact, a lot of other sports outside of the ones who you might see at a SmackDown. Like I remember you'll turn on SmackDown and you might see a Nomar Garcia Parra, King Griffey Jr. Like you'll have different athletes who pulled up, but it's definitely not to the effect that it is right now. I feel like wrestling was kind of looked at as the ugly stepchild. Like it was very popular. Like it's popular, and this might be a hot take. And Ben, you can correct me when I'm done with my rant.
Yeah.
But numbers wise, it's more popular right now. I still don't know if it reached the heights culture wise that it did in the
Yeah,
Attitude
you're
Monday
right.
Night Wars era.
We're in a boom era again
Yeah,
when it comes to wrestling, but nothing is going to. This is not the numbers wise because you have more ways to watch it. Yes,
right.
but the golden era, which is the Hulk Hogan era, and the Stone Cold era, are still culturally the
Yeah,
two the two best the two best eras of
yeah.
wrestling.
And so now with the ESPN deal, and even before the ESPN deal, the WWE is covered like a real sport. And I never liked then and even now when people say, oh, it's fake. The only thing fake about it is there's a predetermined winner.
Yeah.
If you actually watch, it's an art to what they do. You know what I'm saying? They're not faking injuries. When these people tear hamstrings or tear ACLs. In fact, I didn't know what an ACL was till Triple H tore his in 2001. I learned a lot about injuries from watching wrestling. Um, and now that I know about recovery, he actually came back pretty quickly compared to an average ACL. But what I've noticed is it's more accepted now, and it's bigger. You know, it gets treated on the same level of a Super Bowl, of a Final Four, things like that. Like you'll
Okay.
see a lot. You'll see everybody in hip hop culture, movies, TV. Everybody go to these events, even if they don't even really watch. It's just a cultural thing now. So my question to you is, how did it like? Where did the shift come? Is it because the internet, where like nerd culture became more popular? Like I would say, even with comic books and stuff, I think the rise of the MCU made it more popular. People would be like, "Oh yeah, I used to read comic books when I was," which we all did, but it wasn't a thing at the time when you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I watch comic books." People like, make your lame ass at it. Like it's different now, is what I'm saying. I think maybe the internet made it bigger.
You know what? Shouts out to Kaz. I think this might be a better question for him. Um, because he's been there, he's been in the building. But what I will say is,
Shout out friend of the
yeah,
program, Cass.
shout out to friend of the program. Like what I would say is what we're doing right here, specifically what we're doing right here. I believe that it's more eyes on the sport because there's more avenues and ways to talk about the sport. You have the pandemic going into the pandemic. Um, Wrestling had to take a back seat in some ways for the fan perspective and stuff. But when you look at sports, like during the pandemic, all you kind of had, all you kind of had was that. Like all you had was wrestling. All you had to look at is that. Hold on, let me be a dad real quick. Go tell your mom. Um, All right, back to being a show co-host. You had wrestling, and that was really it at some point. So coming out of the pandemic, you have Roman Reigns becoming who he was, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, all of those things. So I think the pandemic inadvertently helped wrestling because that was the only thing that was on. Vince McMahon was like, "Yo, we gonna have Raw every Monday, Jack. I don't know what y'all talking about over here." That's one. Two, like I said, is what we're doing right here. We're being able to have the conversation about it, and with more eyes and more people to talk about it, it's gets out into the atmosphere. I think the last part of it too is the big deals that they made from a TV standpoint. Even before all of these deals with Netflix and stuff, having that big $1 billion deal with Fox helped too, because then you also had a studio show that was coming on Fox or SmackDown for a minute too. Now with them going to Netflix, it makes it seem bigger, and then you got SmackDown is excuse me still on Fox. That helps. You got AEW and having that on television too. That helps a lot. So I think it's just multiple ways of seeing the product that is helping it out, and some of these big deals. Now, I know there was some controversy though. I know. Well, Lil Mac, if you want to have that conversation, make sure you tune into the First Black Champ
Subscribe
podcast.
to First Black Champ on the
Subscribe to the
Barbershop
Barbershop
Network.
Network, home of the First Black Champ
Link
podcast.
is in the description box.
Exactly. So we can have that conversation there. But what I will say is this: um, I think it's time for wrestling to have its own studio show, like a real studio show. At this point, the WWE is ESPN. Like they're the main draw, but when you look at wrestling, WWE, then you look at wrestling. And I think right now it is about time to have a wrestling studio show. Just like you have a Get Up, just like you have a First Take, and these other shows, just like you have a Partner in Eruption, there needs to be a wrestling studio show, hosted by whoever Joe Tessitore is your host, and you can have a running sea of guests like a Kaz, like wrestlers. You got Busted Open Radio that is now Pro Wrestling Network, and Busted Open is one of the shows. And you got Mark Henry and Bubba Ray and Natalia and Nick Nemeth all talking about the sport with people like Jonathan Hood, like our big homie, and others. So I think media wise, the next step is to have a wrestling studio show where you're having conversations about the sport of wrestling, not just WWE. I think the WWE is now bigger than ever, but now with AW and TNA and MLW and AAA and C Mill and all of those things and New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think it's about time to have a studio show, and that will also help bring people in to have these conversations. Because the one thing that I saw while watching this WrestleMania coverage for ESPN, which it was a lot of people that didn't like that. There was a lot of people that was like, "Yo, why are we watching this wall-to-wall coverage of wrestling?" Because WrestleMania is the biggest weekend of wrestling. As you said, it's the Super Bowl of wrestling. But with all of that being said, what I felt like the next step is instead of just bombarding Sports Center and all of these other shows, there needs to be a studio show devoted around wrestling, around the sports entertainment. That joint could go in place of that joint could go in place of what's that? Around the Horn. That joint could come on before Partner Interruption. They put it at night on the weekend, but there needs to be a studio show now.
Uh, just answer this one quick question, then we'll move on. Shout out to Lil Max. He said he subscribed. So, do you think the actual product is
Yes,
bigger though?
yes. The actual product is bigger than it was. Things grow, things get bigger, things grow. Technically it is bigger than it has been. More money is coming into wrestling than ever before. People are paying those premium prices. You're seeing it in more avenues. It is not just about the WWE, it is about wrestling in general. We have now Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW with 2 shows, all on TV. You could damn near watch wrestling every day of the week. TNA also on A&E or AME, excuse me. And then you have places like MLW who are doing great shows. GCW and the independents are doing shows. Technically, it is bigger. The difference, however, is culturally. I think as a whole, the Attitude Era and the Hulk Hogan era, excuse me, are bigger than the era it is now. Culturally, financially, it is not. And if you watch the Hulk Hogan documentary, you'll see what I'm talking about. Culturally, it's not, but financially, it is.
Very good point, man. Let's move on to our actual rundown for the day, man. Before we get into the sports, well, this is sports, but sports adjacent. We're gonna talk some mess again today on the show. We gonna what the women do, clock it TV. It's more mess. and, the Dianna Russini, Mike Vrabel saga. So the draft was yesterday. And, after a couple weeks, Dianna Russini stepping down from the Athletic, even though her contract was set to end at the end of June, she, what's the word I'm looking for? Maintained her innocence, even keeping her statement up as a pinned tweet. And then more pictures came out yesterday. It was like new pictures coming out every hour. I even saw a tweet that got sent to the group chat that said, man, this is like the Riddler releasing a new picture every hour up until the draft. And it showed pictures of them from 6 years ago. So this is a real affair. This ain't we just been messing around the last couple months. No, this goes back to COVID days. Pictures of them in a dive bar in Manhattan. I am nobody, and I wouldn't cheat in a dive bar in Manhattan. You asking to get found out. Then they got another one of them at a casino in Mississippi, which tells me she was with him on some scouting trips because there's no other reason to be in Mississippi with Mike Vrabel. You know what I'm saying? So you got that. And then we find out her son, who was born in the year 2021, his name is Michael. Now, what I want to say about that, I unfortunately cannot say on this show because I want eventual sponsors. But I will say this. A lot more has happened for less. That is diabolical. And now, our guy Dante sent something to the group chat. Well, now there's questions. Is the kid even her husband? We got a lot of stuff here. Then you had Mike Vrabel. He met the media yesterday. He's going to have counseling sitting out the third day of the draft. I found this hilarious because he's trying to act like he has accountability by having counseling on the third most important day of the NFL draft. Who cares who gets drafted at pick 168? It's not like if you really cared about this situation, you would be like, oh, I'm going to have counseling during the draft. Be like, no. The first and second round is important. We don't care about the fifth, sixth rounders. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get from this. Now, I also want to say, I feel like a lot of people are being very obtuse with why Dianna Russini is getting the brunt of this more than Mike Vrabel. I know we like doing the battle of the sexes thing. So I'm going to try to put this in the best way possible. It should be on Dianna Russini for a multitude of reasons. One, she's a journalist. So there's journalistic integrity here. You know what I'm saying? Is it right for Mike Vrabel to be doing that? I don't really care about neither one of them cheating. That is a household issue. But when we're talking about jobs in the National Football League, him sleeping with a reporter and maybe feeding her info has nothing to do with the New England Patriots. Has nothing to do with him or makes him look bad. He can go out there and say, oh, I would love to trade for A.J. Brown. it still takes two to tango. The Eagles still got to agree to that trade. That doesn't mean anything. There's already a negative and false stigma around women journalists who get scoops, and people assume that, oh, they're sleeping around. And it's not even just with journalists. People think that and other negative thoughts about women. So when you go out there as a woman journalist and you profess your innocence, and it comes out that shorty you was lying, as much as you want to say, as much as I say that Vrabel's apology or counseling is BS, he still admitted to it, basically. You know what I'm saying? He didn't put, bang, last week you were talking about where's the statements. He didn't say, oh, I
But
didn't
what did
do
I
it.
say was, how did I say the statement was going to go, though?
Yeah, and you were right. But she came out first like, this never happened. They're just doing this because I'm a woman. And it's like, cut the crap, okay? That's what the issue here. It has nothing to do about who's in the right, who's in the wrong. That's for his wife and for her husband to answer. I don't care. But if we're looking at this from a code of ethics with journalism, she's the one who's gonna be in trouble here. It just is what it is. So that's what I think about that particular situation. Now, shout out to my boy Big Waz, because Waz said something on one of his podcasts, which had me dying. He said the only play here is to use the "we were in love" card. That's the only play here.
Well, let me take over here, Scott.
Go ahead.
Scott, this is no longer a journalistic conversation. This is not that no more. Because I disagree with you on the on the Mike Vrabel thing, only because the only reason why I disagree with you is we don't know the information he was feeding her. We don't know. He could have been feeding her information that's damaging to a player or a fellow coach. We don't know. So
I got a counterpoint to that.
wait a minute.
I got a counter. Let me just before I forget.
Go ahead.
In fairness, that happens all the time, even with journalists you're not sleeping with.
Oh,
How many times did Kobe tell Jim Gray, "Oh, Shaq cheating on his wife"?
Oh no, that's the point. Now we see it. Like now we see it, and that's what I'm saying. Like now we see it. But one of the comments, CS 1542 said, "Dude, if it was a one nighter, okay, but this month did it for 6 years. This is no longer a journalistic conversation. They were in a whole ass relationship. Their husbands and wives did not know. They were in a whole relationship. So this is different. This is, to me now, this is no longer a journalistic conversation. This is now take us out the group chat. Now it's take us out the group chat. Because this wasn't no situation where it was like, yo, give me a little tum-tum from the scoop. This wasn't that. They were in a whole ass relationship. And that's why I say this journalistic part is out the window. Because
yeah, I agree with that.
At the beginning of it, we probably was sitting there like, yo, she was doing something strange for a scoop. No. This goes back to 2020. Yeah. This wasn't doing nothing strange for no scoop. And don't let what the internet is
saying about the boy,
saying about the kid, don't let that be true. That, first of all, that's nasty in itself.
Diabolical.
I don't want to have a conversation about somebody fathering a kid. Don't know if it's a kid, whatever. But that joint that Dante sent in the group chat said, "Hey, I wonder where they were together around the time this was. If they was around the time, and she was there. She was around him around the time the kid was conceived." Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a journalistic integrity conversation. This is a Maury Povich, Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael, Jenny Jones.
Oh, you throwing out the throwbacks. Sally Jesse Raphael.
Morton Downey Jr. Was it Rosanda, whatever that is, or whatever that is, this is that. This is that right now. Because they've been together for 6 years. They have been together. They are in a relationship. Nobody just knew it. So whether it's one of those situations where, hey, we get together when we get together, yo, you go on the cover, I bet. Slide. No stuff. They were in a relationship. If she got a scoop, this is legit what this was, Scott. We are in a relationship. If I get a scoop out of this, then I get a scoop out of it. But they're in a relationship, and they've been in a relationship since at least 2020. Let's stop talking about the journalistic integrity thing because this ain't got nothing to do with that. If this was a one night stand, if she was doing something strange for a scoop, that would be one thing. But the minute you see them in New York, y'all, you don't coach for New York. And the minute you see them out of all places, Mississippi. Ain't no NFL teams in Mississippi,
Bro,
fam.
that was an NFL pre-combine visit. That's what that was.
He worked for the Nashville football team, the
Bro,
Tennessee Titans.
head coaches don't even go on scouting trips.
He wasn't right. He wasn't in Memphis. He wasn't playing in Memphis, which is right down the street. No, they went to Mississippi. They were in a relationship. Let's just call it that.
Now, while I 100% agree with what you're saying, to the general public who don't have nuance, they're still going to look at this from a journalism perspective.
Oh, see, Scott, stop.
Is that not true?
Hear me out. Hear exactly what I'm about to say. Everyday American don't even give a shit about journalism. Fuck all that shit. Excuse my language.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm talking about how it views on her. No, because they're gonna look at her as the villain in this situation.
Yeah, no, stop it. They were in a relationship, y'all. That's what I'm saying.
They were in love.
I ain't saying you wrong. I'm saying stop it. This ain't that. And you ain't got to fake it no more, y'all. Y'all ain't even got to fake this. This ain't got nothing with journalistic integrity because 9 out of 10 people on Twitter be wanting people to tell their sources in the first place. Soon as Dianna Russini tweeted out this stuff in 2021, who's your sources? You ain't care about journalistic integrity then. You wanted to know the source. You don't care now. This is just a salacious story. Telling you, this is no longer a journalistic conversation. This is, on the next Ricky Lake, a football head coach dating a reporter? Oh, this is messy. Stay tuned for the next Ricky Lake.
I saw something a couple days ago said one of the Patriots are going to take accountability. I mean, you mean the same team whose owner loves visiting rubbing tugs, the same team that housed a murderer for like 3 seasons.
What they supposed to take accountability for?
That too. Also, exactly. And, you know, I'm the first to blame white people for anything. For anybody, I know the question came up in that group chat, if he was a black coach, would he get fired? No, he was not. Same thing happened to Mike Tomlin. He'd be fine. And for people want to bring up the Michigan thing, the issue was he was sleeping with somebody at the school. And then she out here doing 2020 interviews and saying, he took advantage of me. Like, yeah, he got arrested. That's different.
Somebody want to talk about Ime. Look, somebody want to talk about Ime Udoka. They worked together, and she was a subordinate.
Yeah,
we didn't need to know all of that, but that's why. The Sharon Moore thing, she was a subordinate, and he went to jail. He wasn't keeping that job. The Mel Tucker thing, he was a little freaky. He was a little bit. He was doing a little bit. It sounded like he was doing a bit too much.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel ain't getting fired for having consensual sex with a reporter, reportedly, allegedly, if that's the case. He's not getting fired for that. He's getting fired for doing something diabolical. He's doing something. He's getting let go if he's doing something violent to her. Look at those pictures, ladies and gentlemen. She wanted it just like he did. And the fact that they got a picture of him leaning over and kissing her.
He did the lean in.
He did the lean in at the bar?
And lean in at the bar.
He did the lean in at the bar, fam.
And he pulled in the classic fourth quarter move.
This is take us out the group chat time.
Yes, 100%.
This is what this is, ladies and gentlemen. Soon as they drop them 2020 joints, and as soon as they start looking at, wait a minute, hold on. She had that baby in August. So that means that the baby was conceived in
And
November.
like, yeah.
So were they together around that time? Were they around each other? Wait a minute. The Titans
The
played the
plot
coach.
thickens.
The Titans played the coach, and she was covering it. And that's around the time that the baby was conceived. And in 2020, they was already kicking it because there's a photo of that. Oh no. Oh no. That means take us out the group chat, fam. That's
The
what that
lean in.
is.
Everybody know the lean in. I've used the lean in multiple times. That's the closing move right
That's
there.
yeah. This is take us out the group chat time. Because now you can't now again, it's now I can say what I said last week too though. Now it's really nasty when sports shows are having conversations about this. Now it's officially nasty because again, they were in a whole relationship. Mike Vrabel, and here's the thing. Sorry, here's the thing. And I know my wife probably upstairs listening. She might be watching. And my wife said something to me on our couch that I was like, yeah, you got a point. Oh, Mike Vrabel wife, no. She knew. I don't think Dianna Russini husband knew. But Mike
No, I
Vrabel
think
wife,
I
she
think
knew.
those pictures were from private investigator that Mrs. Vrabel hired.
No, she that's what I said. She knew. She knew 2020.
Yeah.
She knew 2020. She just wanted to see if it was still going on again. Now, it
And
was
that's
somebody
probably
said,
why he had no problem just coming out with it.
right, that's what I'm saying. It's now official to me. That was somebody who knew. That was Mike Vrabel's wife. She knew. Because everything points to, oh man, I have to have these uncomfortable conversations. And you know what Mike Vrabel's wife did when those joints come out? This is what she said to Mike Vrabel. So you
I knew
really
you were
gonna
still
embarrass us
messing with
like
that
this?
bitch.
Like you just gonna embarrass us like this. For real? Like it was first of all, you shouldn't have did it in the first place. But what's done is done. I forgave you. I forgave you and stuff. But you going back? You dipping in? Oh nah.
Hey,
Uh-uh.
Orlando, she was making them Carmela Soprano dishes that he would make the priest.
Yeah, man, yeah, nah, that nah, fam. Jen Vrabel probably knew. And she basically like, yo, you embarrassing us right now. Like
Yeah.
you embarrassed the family. And hey, that's what happened here. He embarrassed the family. And you can't
Yeah.
embarrass the family.
Yeah, we all know she's been doing that multiple times, embarrassing that man on TV. Real Jada Pinkett Smith coded what
Yeah,
she was
so
doing.
Diana Russini situation, but Mike Vrabel embarrassed the family, and you can't embarrass the family. But this is not a journalistic conversation no more. This is
It's not. And
this is a
honestly,
messy conversation.
it's unfortunate for her that this is take place during the regular season, not regular season, off season, in one of the most uneventful NFL drafts of all. Speaking of the NFL draft, like that segue, let's talk about the Chicago Bears, man. Yesterday, NFL draft night one happened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I gotta say, the spectacle looked cool on TV. As somebody who's been to Pittsburgh, I didn't know they had that much space to put that. It looks very big behind Heinz Field. I'm very aware that it's no longer called Heinz Field, but I'm old school and I'm gonna call stadiums what they were called when I was growing up. That's Heinz Field. I don't care about capitalism. But anyway, number one pick was the NFL's Ned Flanders, Fernando Mendoza. Um, I don't really have much to talk about with him, but we'll get to the other draft stories in a minute. Let's talk about the beloved. The Bears drafted Oregon safety Dillion Thieneman at pick number 25. Now, here's my opinion on this. I'm just glad they drafted a defender because I was very scared that this man, Ryan Poles, was going to draft an offensive lineman. Now, I am not here to say that left tackle or backup center is not needed. I just think we have more flexibility there than we do on the defensive side of the ball. I want this to be a Dennis Allen draft. And I was also surprised. Now, I wasn't fully watching the draft. I had it on my iPad while I'm watching the NBA playoffs, but I was tracking it. And I can't believe that he dropped us. I was very sure that he was going to Minnesota or earlier than that. So
Yeah.
we know Ryan Poles has BPA philosophy, best player available. He did it last season when he went for Colston Loveland. A lot of people were like, why you need a tight end, blah, 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 blah. And he became arguably their best player on offense who's not the quarterback. So that paid off. He also did it with Luther Burden. Wide receiver wasn't really a need last year. Both of those dudes had really good years. And I feel like he's doing the same thing here. Now, I'm not going to fully judge Ryan Poles until I see how the rest of this draft unfolds. 3 picks tonight. You need some defensive line help, need edge, you need a defensive tackle. You still need another corner because let's be real, we got eyes. I don't trust Tyreek Stevenson. I don't think the Bears trust Tyreek Stevenson. He even lost his job last year. So you're going to need somebody there. And also, until Jalen Johnson show that he can be consistently healthy, you're going to need help there. But I think the thing that I like about Dillion Thieneman, I keep messing his name up, is number one, he can tackle, which we've had problems with. Feels like for years at this point. He's a ball hawk. He can cover all around the field. He's really interchangeable. He can play strong safety. He can play free safety. It's not really like a position that you just can hold him to. And he's fast. And he knows how to, be where he needs to be. So I think this is a really great pick. I have no complaints about it. Y'all know I'll be the first one to criticize Ryan Poles. So I thought night one, pretty good. And I want to see if he can boost that DL up tonight. What did you think about the pick, man?
I love the pick because that's what originally who I wanted the Bears to pick. The only reason why I changed my mind, I said up in the chat yesterday, is because of Mikey. But because Mikey was saying how he didn't think any of them was going to drop there. But no, I love this pick. Dylan Thieneman. I'm just gonna call him DT right now, so I won't mess up the name. But DT,
We're going to be calling that boy White Dylan by week 6.
yeah, why we about week 6, but um, DT was somebody that I identified um, way in the off season. Once we knew that Jaquan Brisker wasn't going to come back, and when Kevin Byard wasn't going to come back, when they signed Kobe Bryant, um, we all knew that they needed another safety. There was a couple of thoughts or rumors about maybe Kyler Gordon being able to move over. I know somebody even mentioned, like, what about Tyreek Stevenson? I was like, hell no on that. They only went after Kobe Bryant, so we knew they needed another one. So when I looked at him and Emmanuel Warren, um, DT was the best one for me. He was fast, he was athletic, he gets after the ball, he's a ball hawk. He's a lot faster than Emmanuel, and I knew that Dennis Allen's defense is built off of speed. So if he could get speedy in a number of areas, that was going to be great. And when you look at our defense last year, that was our downfall. Like, as much as Kevin Byard was good from the ball hawking standpoint, he was slow. He was slow. TJ Edwards, that was one of his strong suits, and now because of injuries and stuff, he's not as quick as he once was, and I hope he could get that back. That's one of the reasons why you could bring a Jack Sanborn back, because he is a speedier, shiftier linebacker. That's why you make the change from Tremaine Edmonds, because he is a slower linebacker. So now when I look at DT coming into the fold, you got Kobe Bryant. They're gonna, hey, they getting around. They not just the ball hawk, but they're gonna be able to hit. They're gonna hit that line a lot quicker when it comes to safety, when it comes to blitzes and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to that right there. I think it was based off of who was available. This man was the second highest rated safety,
Yeah,
and
after Caleb down.
some people looked at him as a top 15 pick,
Yeah.
or at least a top 15 player, not necessarily a pick, but a player. And I was very shocked and surprised that the Minnesota Vikings didn't grab him so they could have a replacement for Harrison Smith. Well, I thought it was like the perfect replacement, not just because he's white, but I thought it was a great pick for the Bears.
And we bring it back real football heritage with white safeties. That was my one tweet last night. White safeties, hashtag heritage. But yeah, speed is the number one thing, man. I think Emmanuel Acho, TJ, who's your mama? I'm gonna continue to call him that just because that commercial 20 years ago. And Chase Daniel. when you're playing up against teams like the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, who like to spread wide, you need your safeties and your corners and your linebackers to have some speed. So I liked it. Nice first pick. What do you want to see from day two today? Bears got 3 picks.
Now we got to go defensive line. We got to touch on that defensive line. I don't want them to trade their 2 second round picks to move up to get somebody unless it's somebody that they really really want. If they really feel that strongly about Young, go ahead and grab him. But I do think somebody like Zion Young or TJ Parker, who is somebody that I love in this draft, I think one of those players are going to fall to them at 57. So at 57, I would love for them to go defense, defensive line, also linebacker. I forgot my man. I can't remember my man name is right there. Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I hope that that's somebody that could possibly fall to them at that 57 or 60 pick. But I won't play around with 57. It has to be a edge rusher. Um, and they got to come out here with another wide receiver too. I think they got to come out of here with another wide receiver. So I think in the third round they could look at the wide receiver spot. But 57 to 60, they need to continue to go defense and build around what Dennis Allen likes.
Yeah, I want 2 defensive linemen and I want a corner. The question marks we have with Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler in and out of the lineup, Jalen in and out of the lineup. We don't know what we have in Zah Frazier. Try to build that up as much as possible, but I need defensive linemen. That's what I need today. Like I'm with you. If you need to trade up, because one of them is one of your guys, do what you need to do. That's what I want to see, and then we'll see how the rest of the draft goes, man. Overall draft day surprises. Now there wasn't too many surprises, but there's 2 things that surprised me. One, my boy Carnell Tate, Chicago's on from the Ohio State. Uh, he went number 4 to the Tennessee Titans. Did not think he would go that high. I think that is a real good get for the Titans, given Cam Ward, a receiver. I really like that. And then the other surprise for me, Ty Simpson going to the Rams. Now, I don't know if you saw the video of Sean McVay. Did not look happy
At all.
which is surprising to me because when they got sent to the group chat, I was like, I like that. Not that I'm a big fan of Ty Simpson or anything like that. I just like drafting a young quarterback when you're a veteran quarterback. This is probably gonna be his last season. It might have been his last season last year before he decided to come back. But you got you a young quarterback to build, and who better to build a young quarterback than Sean McVay? But looking at that post draft interview, did not look like the Rams brass ran this past their coach because he did not look happy whatsoever. Ben, what's your thoughts on these, and was there any other surprises to you?
Carnell Tate was the biggest surprise for me. Him going 4 to Tennessee. It's like, whoa, that's a bit high. But he from the crib, so I'm gonna go ahead and support that. So go ahead and do that. I wasn't surprised with the Ty Simpson pick for the Rams, actually, because I mean Matt Stafford is a back injury away from being out for the season. So that's one. That's first and foremost. He's hurt still. I don't care how good of a season he had. That could be like Dennis Quaid on any given Sunday. That situation right there. But the other thing to me, and maybe I'm looking at this differently. Maybe I am. But the Rams ain't got no first round pick at wide receiver. They got Devontae Adams, who was not a first round pick. You got Puka Nakua, who I think that was a fifth round pick. That ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. You don't need another wide receiver. Tight end, you might could use the tight end, but after Keon Sadiq went, there's not a first round talent for the tight end position. Their offensive line is pretty decent. Their defensive line is great. Their defensive back, they maybe could have got a linebacker. Okay, whatever. Basically, what I'm saying is there's not a rookie that they could have got at 13 that I think would have put them over the hump for a Super Bowl. Because I hear everybody talking about, oh man, you need to be planning for the Super Bowl, not planning for the future. I don't think it's a person on that team that's not on that team that's in that draft that would be the final piece for a Super Bowl. I think that the LA Rams right now, as constructed, is a potential Super Bowl contender. You didn't need to go pick Makai Lemon to pair him with Devontae Adams and with Puka Nakua. You're good in that area. You didn't need to go draft defensively. I think this was an opportunity for them to go get a quarterback and put him with Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's probably gonna be here for another 2 to 3 anyway. So let him groom and grow because y'all say he ain't got a lot of reps. You all right.
You think Stafford is playing that much longer?
I said probably.
That's
But
a
I'm
long
giving him
time.
I'm giving him 2 more years tops.
Right.
Because right now he has 1 more year left on his deal. They could right now give him a 1 year extension. So there he is for 2 years. Ty Simpson's going to sit behind him for 2 years, or if he gets hurt, he's going to be coached by Sean McVay. And again, I don't think this team is a player away from the Super Bowl. I think they are a Super Bowl contender right now. So why don't you go get Ty Simpson at 13? And then for your day 2 and day 3 picks, go out and get the people that you feel like that can help you right now. But yeah, I wasn't surprised. I actually expected him to be the pick at that number.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me a little bit, but I do believe that that's the best system for a quarterback for Sean McVay. I do want to know why it felt like he was caught off guard, but yeah, Orlando, you're right. Arizona drafting a running back, but honestly, it didn't shock me that much because it's the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Cardinals are stupid.
it didn't shock me because you got to sell some tickets.
Yeah,
It
that
didn't shock
too.
me because who you got on that team that's worth like the price of admission right now.
Who you
Now,
got in Arizona sports that's worth the
now
price of admission?
on the flip side, this is what I could tell you about my thoughts on the draft. Like just adding more drops on thoughts on the draft. It's not necessarily surprises because I don't think it was too many surprises to me. What I will say though is I like what the Jets did, but as you said, they don't have no quarterback. But I think with Gino, well, they didn't draft no quarterback. I don't think nobody cared about any of the quarterbacks this draft except for the first pick, and they know they're not gonna get him. And the
I don't
Rams,
think most people care about him.
and right, and with the Rams is always gonna pick in the back, and unless they truly shit the bed, the Rams gonna be picking that 20 between 20 and 30 anyway. So they're not gonna be able to get Lenoris or Arch or anybody that you consider a top quarterback in the draft. They're not going to be in a position to get them because they're gonna be good. But when I look at the Jets, I think the Jets gonna be fake decent, and they're gonna be fake decent enough to move them out of that spot. The Jets, I don't think are going to be terrible. The Jets
So
ain't going to be 2 and
win
13.
wise, what is fake decent to you?
I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win 5 to 6 games, and 5 to 6 games is going to take you out of contention to have a possible top 5 spot, which will what you will need to go get a top quarterback. I think the team that's preparing themselves for that is the Arizona Cardinals. Now we got our running back. We'll get Marvin on track. We got Trey McBride. We got a young offensive line. We need help on defense, but we gonna be terrible enough to get that number 1 spot. You might as well pencil in the Arizona Cardinals right now as on the clock for the 2027 NFL draft. The Arizona Cardinals will have the worst record in the league. Low key, I'll be surprised if they win more than 4 games. They've put themselves in position to have a terrible season, but
And get
also
ready to speak Archman.
but also, you got you a running back, you got your wide receiver, a decent offensive line. We got people in place. The Jets going to be decent enough to move them out of that top 3, and they might not be able to get the quarterback they want unless they move forward to get them. But they got 3, I believe, number 1 picks next year, so you could probably pair some stuff together. But I don't think it was any surprises. I think it was people preparing for 2027.
It's a good take. Let's move on to the NBA before we get to the playoffs. The Bulls. The Bulls have been giving us a lot of stuff to talk about the last couple weeks.
Yes.
So last week we came up here. We were talking about, should Billy just walk away? Would it be better for Billy to just step down and say thank you? I'm gonna move on. And we both said on Friday that when he left that meeting with Jerry and Michael and not committing, that we both thought that meant he was gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, right? So now the Bulls are looking for a new head coach. They're looking for a new president of basketball operations, and they're looking for a general manager. It's a couple things. Now, I just want to say in general, if you zoom out, this is a good thing for the Bulls, for the franchise, for the fans, that they're finally starting from scratch. No makeover trades like getting Vooch, DeMar, and Lonzo. They're literally starting from scratch, in my opinion, for the first time since they decided to, draft Lloyd Marketing and trade for Zach LaVine. So it's interesting. My problem, I got a couple problems. One, John Paxson is allegedly leading the charge to who's going to be the next general manager, president of basketball operations. This gives off real, who's the old dude who helped conduct the Bears search? He used to be the president for the Colts.
Bill Polian.
Bill Polian. This gives off Bill Polian circle of trust vibes that I do not like. Also, the fact that the Reinsdorf really, 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 really wanted Billy to stay. And it's not to say Billy's a trash coach, because I do not think he's a trash coach. But the fact that Billy had to save the Bulls from themselves is also a red flag. So I don't really know. Like, I feel like, as we've said for the last couple weeks, this is such a massive summer for the Bears. For the Bulls. So many damn teams with the letter B in this city. But with the draft lottery next month, then you got the draft. You got all this cap space and a real opportunity to start over. I'm happy that this is the direction, that they finally embraced it. But I got to say, my faith level is at about a 4 right now. Because I just don't feel like a team who had to literally have their head coach tell them, you know what, no, y'all good, I'm going to leave. Instead of just naturally being like, yo, we need to just like start all the way from the bottom. Billy, we appreciate you. You're a Hall of Fame coach. Thank you for being our coach for some odd years. But we're going to go in another direction. The fact that he had to save the Bulls from themselves is concerning. The fact that you got John Paxson, a dude who wasn't a good general manager himself, trying to find the next general manager is problematic. And I do believe the good news we got today is that Austin Brown used to work with the Bulls. Does he work with OKC now? Who's Austin Brown work with?
He's CAA.
He's CAA, but he used to work with the Bulls. He backed out of the president search, which I like, because it's too much Reinsdorf. Let's go get the familiar face. So that I'm happy about. I do not know who I want to be in any of these 3 positions. I just want somebody who knows how to connect with players, who knows how to take the draft model, mix it with spending money in free agency, and mix it with using analytics. As I always said, I don't like analytics, but I'm not a general manager. A general manager should use analytics. And also a head coach who is a young coach, breath of fresh air, and something that's new for the Bulls, because they cannot mess this up. They've already been basically irrelevant for almost 30 years, outside a little brief D-Rose era. You can be irrelevant for much longer if you fumble this summer. That's my take. I don't have much faith. What's your faith level? and everything you got just happened this week?
Ah, man. I guess I could say I have no faith. I don't. I'll mention this again. In my opinion, this is the most important offseason in Chicago Bulls history. Now you have national media saying that the Bulls are irrelevant and have been irrelevant. I even saw a conversation
I
that,
did find it funny that Sham said it is still a very coveted job around the
yeah,
league.
and I'm gonna get to that in a second. Um, it's very interesting that national media is now saying what I've been saying, which is that the Bulls is an irrelevant organization. I even saw somebody say that the Bulls might be the most irrelevant big market team. I would agree with that. I think the Jets are more relevant than the Bulls right now. And that is the only big market team that I would even think about putting ahead of the Chicago Bulls. But they are more
Trick
relevant
question for you:
than what's
who's
up?
more relevant, Chicago Bulls or the Chicago White Sox?
I already told you. I think the Chicago White Sox is more relevant. Look at them right now. Like they're fun because they're hitting home runs.
That's true.
Like just over the fact they have a young, exciting
Murakami,
roster. They got Murakami,
Colson
Colston.
Montgomery.
I think they said they both hit 4 home runs in a row
Yeah, this
together.
week. Yeah,
Like that, they are way more
and they got the
relevant.
number one draft pick coming this summer.
Yeah. So the Bulls, no. Now, yes, they are an attractive organization. They are an attractive organization just off of the strength that they are in the third biggest media market. And you can go up in there and you can see 6 trophies. But I'm going to say what I said a couple of weeks ago again. You take those 6 trophies away, what do you have? You have a shit organization.
Yeah, you don't even have the Orlando Magic.
Right. You don't even have that. So no, this is an attractive job because also you come up in there and you change the Bulls around, like you eating for free for life
One
everywhere.
hundred percent.
You can you can write a golden ticket if you take them to the Eastern Conference Championship in 4 years. They have 60 million in cap room, 2 first round picks, Matas, Josh Giddey. You got 2 key young pieces right there. You have some potential role players around. But as I had told you weeks ago, I'll bring it back up. I'll even ask questions like you asked me. What attractive free agent, knowing how hard it is to leave a team now, who's a free agent out here in the next couple of years that will say, you know what? I
I'm gonna
will come
take
to
a risk,
Chicago.
and it's got to be the right free agent too. It's got to be a free agent who's young enough to be there for a while. Like as much as I love watching Giannis play, there's absolutely no reason for the Bulls to try to play in the Giannis waters this offseason.
You'll be SOL like you was with Ben Wallace once he got
One
old
hundred.
real quick.
Oh, that's a throwback right there. I remember the Ben Wallace signing. What they give him like 80 mil
Yeah, they gave him a lot of money for him to be terrible
for him to be
after a
bad.
season and a half because he got old. So yeah, like who's a free Anthony Edwards? Is he gonna be like, yo, I got to get out of this small market mill Minnesota team to go to Chicago?
I'm gonna be
What the
real. I love Ant. He does not need to play in this city.
right? Can now here's a thought. Here's a thought. It feels like Minnesota. Excuse me. It feels like Memphis is going to have to give up the ass for somebody to take Ja Morant.
To get John Moran out.
You're gonna have to give Ja and something to a team to could there be a world where you take Ja out of Memphis, bring him to Chicago, he get that spark back. But when you look at the top players and the top names, Ant not gonna be like, I want to leave Minnesota to go to Chicago. He gonna say, I want to leave Minnesota to go to Atlanta. Giannis is old. Kawhi,
Especially what they building over in Atlanta
right?
right now.
Kawhi is old. Um, I could go on and
Giannis
on.
is old.
So the next step is building through the draft. So the person who comes in got to pray and hope that what on May 19th or whatever, when they do the draft lottery, that
They get the
we
number one
get in
pick.
the top four. We're gonna have to build through the draft and get some
Yeah.
more attractive pieces for a free agent to go, you know what? I don't mind going to Chicago. The Bulls are going to have to build through the draft. So whoever it is going to have a great track record there. They're going to have to do what the Oklahoma City Thunder did. And that's why I would call Sam Presti and be like, here's a blank check. Come on over.
And you
You're
know
going to
what?
have
That's
that kind of
interesting too because if they repeat this year, and I saw a reel on Instagram, and it said POV when everybody's acting like the Thunder aren't going to repeat, and he's talking about every other story in the NBA as the Thunder are just thrashing the Suns.
mm-hmm.
But I do think I don't like, and like this comment says Sam not leaving his dynasty. I do believe that if they repeat this year, Josh finished. You know what I'm saying? General managers don't stay forever. The Lakers, they're both dynasties. Showtime and the Lake Show was built by Jerry West. He left after the second Kobe and Shaq title. He went to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Then he went on to Golden State. Do I think he would leave? I put like this. If the Bulls came correct, I do believe he will leave. Only because this is the Chicago Bulls. And if I'm Sam Presti, and if you're looking at these guys, they're real competitive. The executives are just as competitive as the players. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at like I got a chance to take iconic brand. I'm gonna say brand, not iconic team. I'm gonna take an iconic brand and take it back to where it used to be in a big city, in a big market. I did my job at OKC. They're good now and for the long term. Their big three is all under contract. They got another big draft pick. You know, I don't. It's not my hesitation is I don't believe the Bulls are serious enough of a team to actually approach him. Him leaving is not something that would be surprising, considering that they've accomplished everything in OKC. If OKC had not won anything yet, I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna leave. But I think if the Bulls came correct, if anything, he'd take a meeting or two. I
Yeah,
just don't believe the
it
Bulls are serious enough to offer the money that he would need to come.
yeah, if you could look, he might not leave. You're right. He might just be like, nah, I'm straight, all of that stuff. You still have the conversation. You have the conversation. You make him say no. It's not about what makes you think he would leave
I mean,
because
I just gave the reasons. If you win another championship this year, it's back to back. You grew 3 stars, a superstar in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander that you traded for and you developed. Two other stars in not Wimby, but what's my man's name? Tall white boy, escaping me right now. Chet, and J Dub, and you won back to back titles. Mission accomplished. The only way from there is down. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Joe
that's what.
Lacob. Okay, hold on. Joe Lacob is the owner. Of course, he's not
Right,
leaving.
yeah, yeah. Of course
We're
he's not
talking
gonna
about
leave.
the general manager. Bob Myers was the general manager, and eventually he left. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So yeah, and you got a point. Like eventually, some of these people leave when there's no longer a challenge.
Yeah,
There's
exactly. There's
no
no
bigger
challenge anymore.
and, and low key, there's no bigger challenge in sports right now than rebuilding
The
the
Chicago
Chicago
Bulls.
Bulls. So look, let me first state this for
And we're not
everybody
saying
who's
that he
watching and
would
listening.
leave. We're just
Right.
saying if you come correct, there's no way he don't at least consider it.
Yeah, we are not saying he will. I'm saying you have the conversation. I'm saying you say, yo, what's good? I'm saying y'all go meet at Chicago Cut and you have a conversation that reads, hey, what would it take for you to come run this team? And he say, what you offering? And you let him know I'm giving up the ass.
And I will say this with absolutely no disrespect
Pause.
to the state of Oklahoma and the city, Oklahoma City. But if you are a general manager looking for a new job and the Rhinestones take you around Chicago in the summer at the most top-notch restaurants, like you said, take them to Chicago cut, get you a couple old fashions, take you to, all the nice rich people places that they go in the Gold Coast and downtown.
Show some legs.
Show them legs. Show a little thigh.
Legs.
You know what I'm saying?
Show a little thigh.
Show a little thigh. He gonna think differently. That's all I'm saying. And to answer your question, Orlando, GM of the Pistons is Trajan Langdon. Head general manager. I knew he was black with a name like that.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Scott. Hold on. Wait a minute. I just need to. You know who Trajan Langdon is, right?
No, I don't. Who is it?
Maybe that's the old man in me. But Trajan Langdon is one of the greatest Duke basketball players of all time.
Oh, yeah. I don't know nothing about Duke.
Hey,
only thing I know about Duke,
the Alaskan Assassin, fam.
Only thing I know about Duke is Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, Kyrie Irving, Coach K, and like Jason Tatum.
Oh man,
and JJ Redick.
Hey, we talking about the Alaskan Assassin, my G.
The Alaskan He's a black Alaskan?
Yeah, man. Hey, Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, Booze. Don't even start on Booze.
Yeah, man.
Just show some thigh. Show some thigh on the Magnificent Mile.
But no, y'all think I'm joking. I am not joking.
No, I'm dead serious.
Bulls need to show the equivalent of they need to do the equivalent of showing some thigh. They gotta let whoever they interview know, hey man, hey, whatever you want, fam, you got it. Pause. All of that stuff. Because I am telling you right now, they also need somebody that got the swag or the charisma to be able to lure these free agents and be able to draft. Or you better be a hell of a drafter. You better be a hell of a team builder. You need one of the two. They need somebody that's going to do both, but you need one of the two. And right now, I ain't seen nobody that is somebody that got the swag and the charisma to lure people to the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. However, some of the people that they named are some team builders. Just that this is the most important offseason, fam.
Yeah, I agree. Forgive my dog barking in the background.
Hey, forgive my kids for asking me for juice and shit.
But see, you can tell a kid to be quiet. Good luck telling a barking dog. He don't look at you like you crazy. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Bulls need to come correct. I know everybody, even we go back to days of Kevin Garnett wanting to play with the Bulls or T-Mac, there's always been the cloud. When they used to talk about the cloud, the Michael Jordan cloud. These kids don't give a shit about the Michael Jordan cloud. You know what I'm saying? That's not their age. So just come correct, man. So we'll see. We're going to spend the last 20 minutes talking about some NBA playoffs. Now, of course, like I said, big triple header tonight. Celtics Sixers tied at 1. That game 3 is in Philly. Lakers Rockets. Rockets up 2-0, trying to go for a commanding 3-0 series lead in Houston. And then the nightcap, I think, is it Suns Thunder tonight?
I think so.
Suns Thunder tonight, which has been blowout city after blowout city. But I want to talk about last night. The Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Oh, Spurs Blazers. That's right. Yeah, Spurs Blazers.
Yep, I'm looking at it.
Why is there so much space in the Thunder Sun series? That makes no sense. Also, Derek, yeah. I know who Bobby Hurley is. I just didn't know about the Alaskan black man. The Rockets quitting game 2. I do believe the Rockets are going to win the next 2 games. I do not believe they're going to win this series, as I said last week. but I do believe they're going to win the next 2 games.
Shit, you
But
better than me.
I want to, or at least I hope, just so we can have it extended a little bit. But last night, the Knicks and the Denver Nuggets are in trouble. One day, and I have no dislike towards Jalen Brunson. I like Jalen Brunson. He's not really from Chicago. He's from the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
But and I love smaller basketball players. Do your thing. But one day we gonna realize that Becky Hammond was right. You're not winning a championship with the point guard. How many times, like a smaller point guard, how many times in NBA history have you won a team won a championship with their best player being a point guard? And I'm not talking about 6'9" Magic Johnson. There's only been twice that I can think of. The Bad Boy Pistons and the Warriors with Steph Curry. I mean, you can bring up Chauncey Billups, but the 04 Pistons was more of a team effort. That wasn't just one star coming out and people dogging him. I don't believe you can win with Jalen Brunson. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's a really great player. He's one of the best players in the NBA, and what he has done to bring that Knicks franchise to relevancy, which is something that we hope the Bulls be able to do. This is year 3 of you being in the playoffs, and you have to get to the NBA Finals at the absolute worst. And now you're down 2-1. And what do we say last week? We said this is going to be a tricky series. And now you got the Hawks believing. It's not an accident the way they've been playing. They've been playing like this ever since the trade deadline, and they got rid of that ball hog Trae Young. The way Quinn Snyder has been having these boys playing. CJ McCollum taking it back to 2015, 2016. That whole young squad hooping. And now their season is essentially going to be on the line this weekend, game 4. Now, I do believe that the Knicks will eventually win this series. But this is going to be longer than it needs to be. And that's an issue. Now, last week, you said the team that had the most pressure was the Denver Nuggets. Now they're down 2-1. Mm-hmm. And this is a team against the Minnesota Timberwolves who look so much more balanced. Having Anthony Edwards back after he missed the last couple games of the season. And, Jaden McDaniels. I love that they was talking crazy and they backed it up. Ayo Dosunmu, 21 points off the bench. This year's post game, he sounded like he got out of prison. Everybody who leaves the Bulls is just happier unless they go into Sacramento like DeMar and Zach did. But for the most part, they're happier. They just look well organized. Now, I am not going to dump on the Nuggets and say they're done. Long as they've got, in my opinion, the best player in basketball, Nikola Jokic, I think they'll find a way to get back in the series. Now, Aaron Gordon being hurt is an issue, and that might continue to be an issue. But in your opinion, man, we talked about who had the most pressure. I said Knicks last week. You said Nuggets. Which one of these down 2-1 teams are in the most trouble moving forward?
I think it's the Nuggets. I put them as the team with the most pressure on them. And not only does it feel like they're not living up to the pressure, I don't want to say they look like they quit because I feel like the Rockets didn't quit. But the Denver Nuggets look like they overmatched. They getting their ass kicked. How Jaden McDaniels talk all that shit and then come out and just is extra aggressive.
And bust their ass.
He bust their ass.
And then we're saying, yeah, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels. That's not so funny anymore.
It's not. Matter of fact, not only is it not funny, it's a noun.
Yeah.
Like we got Jaden McDaniels is a verb. Excuse me. Jaden McDaniels at this point is a verb. We got that Jason McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? It's an action word at this point. Yeah, they're the most disappointing. But then again, also when you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, like it was one point. I didn't watch the full game. I caught some stuff while I was doing my other joint.
It was over at halftime.
But I was like, yo, they extra aggressive tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves are playing like they the best team in the gym, and they lost against this Rudy ass team. So they was like, yo,
when the dunks sound louder and there's more authorities.
Yeah, like Like anybody that's hooped at the gym know. Like that one time that you play the best team, the team that's stacked, and you actually win. So you put them off the court. When
Yeah.
they get back on the court, now all of a sudden they playing extra hard. They playing defense. They playing extra hard. They out here tapping the floor. Come on, you can't get a pass off. You can't even get a bounce pass off. You can't get none off. You can't get a shot off, and you lost 11-1.
Well, we
That's
got
what that
breaking
is.
news. You
What's
might be
happening?
right. The Rockets are done because Kevin Durant has been ruled out tonight with a left ankle sprain. First it was knee, and now it's ankle. So yeah,
Hey,
pack them up.
Jabari Smith said, "Yo, we need KD to be KD." KD said, "I bet my ankle hurt. I bet my ankle hurt, fam. Hey, we not winning this series, fam. Hey, I forgot when they was talking about the group, the burner account,
Yeah,
and
burner count.
y'all go look for them burner accounts, cause that last game it made me feel like KD was like, man, I'm straight. I'm straight. We ain't beating LeBron now. I'm straight. Yeah, this is over with. You won, Scott. Last week when we had this conversation, you talked about how the Lakers was gonna beat Houston. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Yeah, the Houston Rockets quit on themselves. And you know the worst part about this? I like Ime Udoka as a coach. Believe me,
I
I do.
do.
I wish that the Bulls would have chose him instead of Billy
He's the
Donovan.
reason that Nia Long is a cougar now. I don't know if you saw
Yes.
her Playboy
Oh,
interview.
you goddamn right. That's been a topic for work. Trying to get my SEO search up.
I signed the NDA.
Yeah.
Quick. Ain't nobody got
But
no nothing.
but here's my thought. Hey man, Ime Udoka is a little bit used with a word. And it's a word that LeBron James don't like. And he told LeBron James at one point he was acting
I
like
know
that
which word
word.
you're talking about.
Oh, LeBron James got extra motivation to whoop them anyway. So they might not get past the second round. But he got extra motivation to put this team out their misery. Lakers in 5.
Now, here's the thing. Perfect segue, because I want to talk about the interesting situation that LeBron is in right now. Because for the first time in LeBron James's 23-year career, he has zero pressure. Like, for the first time. Nobody outside of a few of us thought that they were going to win this series. In the games of the Houston Rockets that I've watched this season, with or without KD, they just look like they're out there just getting cardio. There's nothing serious about this team. So that's why I thought, even without Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, that they could do some things. Now, the problem for the Lakers, they're on the wrong side of the bracket. Because, I see a lot of Laker outlets saying, oh, well, if they can win this series, they can get Luka back and they can get Austin Reeves back. I'm going to be real with you, boss. I don't think neither one of them coming back this entire playoffs. When you go to Germany in the middle of playoffs, it's cooked. We ain't go to Germany. He went to Madrid. It's cooked. And the fact that JJ said we ain't got no update, I wouldn't count on them coming back. But even if they did, unfortunately, they're on the OKC side of the bracket. Now, the thing that could work in their favor, not that much, but J-Dub got a hamstring problem, and he's week to week. That's the thing. But to me, it's interesting because unless you are an actual Laker fan, and I don't mean like a Laker fan who don't live in L.A., it's more like an actual Laker fan from living in L.A., you'll know that most Laker fans really don't rate LeBron like that. Like, he like your family member that you just don't really talk to. Y'all just related by blood. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really your mans and nothing. That's who LeBron is to the Lakers. Right or wrong, people don't really care about that bubble ring. Right or wrong. I'm going to say right or wrong.
Players
Right
don't.
or wrong, they don't. And I'm going to go even further. Let's take the lens out even further. It's not just the Lakers. People don't care about any championship in any sport that was won during the pandemic. It just is what it is.
I just thought about that. Wait a minute, pause. Pause real quick. I just thought about that. Because I was watching the conversation and they was talking about how the Lakers is the only bubble championship that that that's questioned. I
Nah.
don't remember anybody but the Lakers and the Dodgers winning a
The Tampa Bay
championship in the pandemic.
Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Lightning went back to back.
Wait a minute, no, but the Buccaneers was during the
That
pandemic.
was 2020. No. You're wrong. You're right. No, it was during the pandemic. It was the 2020 season. The Super Bowl was in 2021.
You
So it
right,
was the
because that was the
2020
four
season.
joint.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was
When they
people
played
at
the
the Super
Bears.
Bowl.
When they played the Bears. That
Yeah,
was that year.
exactly. There was like 5,000 people at the Super Bowl because they were in Florida, and Florida didn't have social distancing.
So the only reason why we talk about that ring is because Tom Brady won a ring without Bill
The only
Belichick.
reason we talk about it is because it was Tom Brady, and let's be honest about it, he was gonna win it anyway. That's the only reason.
Well, that was the year Aaron Rodgers jagged.
Yes, that was
the year he.
That was the year he mowed down all the elite quarterbacks. He beat Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He beat Drew Brees, and then he beat Mahomes.
Okay.
And then the Dodgers won the world. This is their first World Series since 1988, but nobody cared till they won in 2024. If you ask the average person, you think the Dodgers' first championship was 2 years ago.
Damn.
Nothing before Ohtani matters.
And who won the Stanley Cup?
The Tampa Bay Lightning went back-to-back that year.
Yeah, nobody cared about the pandemic championship.
And here's a soccer reference. There's a lot of people in soccer who don't care about Liverpool's championship. They broke a 30-year drought, but there was nobody at the games.
Yeah,
so as I noticed, that pandemic sports in general don't get respected.
The only pandemic sport that mattered was wrestling.
Or Tom Brady. Because we just assume that Brady's going to win every year.
Wait a goddamn minute. Nope. No. No, because Drew McIntyre wrestled Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley won. We don't talk about Bobby Lashley being the first black man to defend the world title at WrestleMania and winning.
Yeah, because nobody was there. They had the people's faces in the crowd. I remember them Raw episodes.
No. Well, that WrestleMania had like 5,000 people. Like it had people in attendance. That was there
was 5,000 to 10,000 people at the Super Bowl in 2021.
But wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Nope. Well, okay, that Super Bowl. Well, no, that WrestleMania. That WrestleMania was the first WrestleMania, really the first sporting event out when we was getting out. But the WrestleMania that we don't talk about is the one that was during the pandemic, and that's when Braun Strowman beat Goldberg for the World Championship.
That was literally like a month after quarantine started.
And we don't talk about that at all. We just really talk about The Undertaker and AJ Styles and like the TV put together match. But yeah, we don't talk about Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. Yeah. And we don't talk about Drew McIntyre beating Brock Lesnar and beating the Big Show for some strange reason. They did that shit right after that. And that was a 2-night WrestleMania. So yeah, you're right.
No respect for COVID sports. And that's what my point is here. LeBron has a chance here. Playing with house money for the first time in his career. This is going to sound controversial, but I believe it's true. If he can somehow find his way to the conference finals, even though I don't think they have a snowball's chance in hell against the Oklahoma City Thunder, with or without Luka. But if they found a way, that would finally make him a Laker, in my opinion. And I think in a lot of Laker fans' opinions, because don't nobody really care about that 2020 title. No. In fact, if you look at all of the LA teams that have won in the last decade, they're the only team to not have a parade. That is nuts. In fact, remember when LeBron was campaigning for them to do a joint parade with the Rams, the Dodgers, and the Lakers? Nasty work. But my point is, LeBron, you got a chance to be finally put into Laker lore because you're playing with house money. If they lose, let's just say the Rockets found a way and came back to win this series, or if they go to the next round and get smashed by the Thunder, nobody's going to care because they had these injuries. But if he can just take one more rabbit and pull it out of the LeBron James bag of things you said I can't do, and I'm going to do it anyway, and even find a way to a conference final, then I believe the Laker fans will honor him. I truly do. That's what I want to say about that, man.
That's a
But
good point.
we'll wrap this up. Triple header getting ready to start about 15 minutes. I'm just gonna say this about a couple of these games tonight. Um, I picked the Celtics to win the NBA championship last week on my playoff preview with Pappy. Um, I saw last in game two why they lost to the Knicks again. When their when their 3 pointers are on, they're damn near unstoppable. But when they miss, and because the volume of 3 point shots that they take, you can beat them. And that's what we saw in Philly. And that's why it's the danger for the Celtics because they're very streaky. And if they don't win the title, that's going to be their downfall because it's a reoccurring problem that they can't really fix because the amount of 3 pointers that they shoot is just part of their game plan. So they're not just going to change that. So that's why I got with that one. I don't have much to say about this Spurs Blazers series, but I will say that if Wemby misses, and we still haven't gotten any news, at least I haven't read anything yet about whether he's playing or not. If he don't play, this could be a little longer series
Yeah.
because the Blazers don't quit. Having said all
Um.
that, I got the Celtics, I got the Lakers, and I got the Spurs tonight,
Yeah.
with or
Yeah.
without Wemby.
Actually, without Wemby, I got the Portland Trailblazers. I got the Portland Trailblazers pulling that one out. And what's my man, Nikhil Alexander Walker? Just was announced to win Most Improved Player.
Oh,
Um,
shout out to him.
they said that Atlanta is the first team to have back to back Most Improved Players or some shit like that. So there's that.
Who won it last year?
I forgot. That's why I was like, who did that? Like, but man, I got the Celtics tonight. I got the Lakers tonight. Um, and I got the Blazers if
All
Wimby don't
right.
play.
All right. We'll see how that goes, man. So that is all we got for y'all on this edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You Live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching and listening. If you want the audio to the live show, the podcast version of the live show, you gotta subscribe to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. Link is in the description box. Link is in the QR code right here on the screen. Just subscribe to the $5 I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier or the $10 Barbers Chair or Access tier, and you will get the audio podcast version to the live show each and every Friday, man. Shout out to everybody who's been watching Soccer for Dummies. I appreciate y'all. I'll have another episode on Monday. Keep subscribing to the YouTube channel. QR code on the screen. Link in the description box. Scott's World of Sports. I go in depth in the NFL, with the NBA, mainly Premier League. I try to talk a little bit of all soccer, but mainly Premier League. So get in tune, man. Get in tune. So also 79th and Hallis will be back next week. Me and my brother will be recapping the entire draft. Bang. Anything people should look out for?
New episode of First Black Champ recapping WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 coming this week. We also have a new episode of Some Dude coming next week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about there. And yeah, just follow the content. Follow me at JR Bank. Follow Some Dude Media. Got a new piece of content called How Decent. Well, I just quickly run down how decent some shit is. If you from Chicago, if you from the crib, you know how we use decent. Sometimes shit just decent, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes shit decent as hell. So that deso meter, you will see that, but that's new content. Y'all follow.
Definitely, man. Y'all enjoy y'all sports weekend. Enjoy y'all weekend in general. We will be back next Friday. I post things on my YouTube channel basically every day. So please subscribe. We gonna holler at y'all, man. We up out of here.